Hari Om. In today's Nuggets of Wisdom, we'll be looking into a very necessary and an important aspect as to how do I interact and deal with environments around, experiences, especially with the people around, with the beings that I interact with, how do I interact with them? So, this beautiful quotation of Puja Gurudev, wherein he says, when you are dealing with yourself, deal with your head, but to handle others, use always your heart. Such a beautiful, profound statement. What does he mean by this? Head means the arguments, logic, reasoning. Apply that with oneself. Expect the better than the best from oneself. But when dealing with others, deal with your heart, meaning be gentle, be non judgmental, give them a benefit of doubt. Put yourself in their position, and if you were in their position, what would I have asked of others as to how to handle me? Try handling others with that perspective. Sounds very simple, sounds very approachable and very logical. But when we observe our own lives, what we often find is that when dealing with others, I become the judge. When dealing with myself, I become the lawyer. Whereas it has to be the other way around. I have to be meticulously ruthless when it comes to my own self and expectations from my own self. But when I am dealing with others, then I have to have a sense of benevolence. Probably this is what happens specifically with very close friends, family, immediate family, specifically, very dear ones. We have psychologically put all these people, a group of 10, 12 people who we interact with, trust, and deal with on a daily basis, we probably have taken them into consideration that as one's own self. Therefore, we apply our head, our logic, our reasoning. But when it comes to dealing with one's own self, I want the world around to give me a benefit of doubt, to give me a chance to look at me in the most benevolent manner. When I deal with myself, it should be that I have to have disciplined approach, consistent approach, very brave to look at my own flaws, mistakes, and be ready to accept them. DCBA, disciplined, then consistent, brave, and be able to accept my shortcomings. Whereas when I deal with the people around, I should be able to again accept them as they come, be benevolent with them, be compassionate with them, and deal with them diligently, not harshly, delicately. So accept. You know, when this is lacking, we lack empathy. And when that empathy is lacking, I may have good intentions in my heart, but I always come across in a very harsh manner. I always come across in a very penalizing, punishing mode. And then at the end of the day, I seem to complain. I always intend good for others. Why does everybody seem to distance themselves away from me? In fact, you would have done everything possible in giving them material, money, comfort, guidance, a value based guidance. But where do we fall short is when our actions, words have the edge of harshness in it. Jihwagre vasate Lakshmi, Jihwagre mitra bandhavaha. In a Subhashita, it says that all our friendship and enemies are based on our tongue, meaning our speech. How we address, how we deal, how compassionate are we, how accommodative are we. And in that accommodation, there is care, concern shown. But at that moment, I feel like correcting. At that moment, it feels necessary to get into their thick heads. That agitation takes over. What do I do? Don't react. If it is possible, step out. Take a moment. Reevaluate. Give them a benefit of doubt. Sometimes, in giving that benefit of doubt, giving them that scope, that room, it may look like I am doing the millionth time. The frustration comes when I don't see impact. Their thinking, their lives. It happens. It happens at a home environment, office environment, especially in a volunteer organization environment, where everybody comes with a good intention, but at the end of the day, each individual with their own actions may fall short. And we may be guiding them or chastising them the nth time. And still we feel that they are not reciprocating, they are not responding, they are not there is no balanced approach. it is at that time, throw in some compassion. It is at that time, show that benevolence, accept, and that genuineness, let that touch the other person's heart. And once that Broadway is connected, once that highway is connected to their hearts, and they can feel it, change will come. But it's a slow and steady process in which it directly is proportional to the sense of accommodation that I can provide to the other individual if I truly intend for that other individual to grow at their pace, not at my pace. In order to develop this, we need to evolve in a very tremendous, deep manner. Hope we get this beautiful point. When dealing with oneself, deal with head. When dealing with others, use always your heart. Until the next time, take care. Hari Om.